Oh, and thank you for coming to speak with me today.
Here, thanks for the invitation.
Wanted to have you on. Your books interest me because they take place in the setting of the Jersey Shore, and I find that interesting since I live in Jersey and I have a place down in Cape May. So, to begin, why don't we start with, if you can kind of tell me a little bit about yourself and your background, and then we can go from there.
Okay, I grew up in Philadelphia, but I'm pretty sure I went to the Jersey Shore every summer of my life, starting when I was 6 months old. So that's a lot of Jersey Shore experience. Grew tired of everyone else got a vacation and she just moved her job. So we stopped going for the whole summer, and that's when I became like a friend, so that when people went down for a week, they could bring a friend and I would be that friend. So that's how I got to know different locations up and down the Jersey Shore. And even within Ocean City, different parts of Ocean City. So
yeah. And I see you grew up in Philadelphia. How long did you live in Philadelphia?
I'm back there now. I lived there basically until I was 30. I went through school there and to graduate school there. I think I lived away in Boston for a year in the middle. But aside from that, I was in Philadelphia most of my life. Then when I started working, I went to library school, but ended up with a career where I never worked in a library. I worked for companies that provided services and products to libraries. And so I worked in DC and New York and moved back and forth a few times. I spent 1 year in Connecticut, I guess, and 1 year in Chicago, but mostly back and forth between New York and DC. And then I'm not quite sure when I came back to Philadelphia. I think it was about 10 years ago now, I came back here.
Okay. And well, certainly your library education probably helps you with the research aspect of writing a book.
Oh, absolutely. Well, part of the reason I went into librarianship was because I love research, that and organizing things. So, it was a good fit for me.
Well, that's another aspect that people don't really think about. Why don't you speak about that?
It has helped because I think a lot about, even when I changed file names, how I change my file name. When I'm writing, I save a new file every day when I'm finished. And I save it year first, then month, then day, because I'm thinking like an indexer. And that's how I wanted to come up. That's how I wanted to be filed. In terms of words, it took me a while to come up with a system that I liked. I would just randomly structure where I would put the location first, then the individual's name, then if there was a particular topic after that. So, and in one book, I reversed it and did location, then topic, then person. But I had to think it through before because I made a lot of mistakes and would find it hard. I'd be doing research twice because I'd swear I had done it before and I couldn't find it.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's oftentimes the struggle I find on my end, because I write true crime. So a lot of times, you go out to the libraries, you have these interviews, and then you acquire this research. And although I research and write almost simultaneously, to try to retrieve it sometimes becomes difficult. What prompted you to write your first book, Killing Time in Ocean City?
Well, the thing that prompted me in the moment, was I wanted to kill somebody. And I think a lot of mystery writers would say that you come upon somebody you want to kill. It's a lot safer to kill them in writing than to do that. And I had gotten the idea from a friend who, and this is how long ago it is, I went to her house and she had bought a word processor, not even a computer, a word processor. And I asked her what she was going to do with it. And she read tons of mysteries. She said, I'm going to write a mystery and I'm going to kill. And she mentioned like a mean girl from our school. And I thought, well, that's a really good idea. So I sort of stored it away for a while. And then when I encountered this person I really wanted to kill, I thought, there's a good idea. And there were some other things that were happening at the same time. I worked in online information before there was an internet. We were largely selling to libraries, all types of libraries. But with the advent of the internet, things were changing and that business was losing its strength, much like newspapers did. So, it was something I was looking around for something else to do. I didn't feel I was particularly credentialed to write. When I was in grade school, I went to Catholic grade school, and somehow the nuns convinced us, 5 of us, that it was really an honor to get to clean the lunchroom. And the 5 of us found a piece of jewelry under a floorboard and started writing a mystery. And that was my total experience of writing mysteries when I started writing my first book. I had done a lot of writing, marketing writing, and documentation on the job, but I had never written fiction and certainly never mystery until I got started. But I had read voraciously. And I wasn't really conscious when I was reading of all the subgenres. I just loved anything I picked up that was a crime book. It could have been true crime. It could have been a police procedural, could be a cozy. I didn't really differentiate. And for a long time, I didn't think I could write a book. And then there's an author named Carol Burry. She isn't writing right now, I don't think. But she wrote a series featuring an office temp, Bonnie Indermill. And it was very funny. And when I read those books, I thought, I think maybe I can do this. I think there's a chance that that might be the genre I'm looking for. And at the time, I thought it was a cozy, but once I was on a cozy panel at Degley Inc. and realized that I didn't write cozies, but I do write traditional mysteries, whodunits. They're very close to cozies. They're polite. They have a small cast of characters. They have an amateur sleuth, but they're not quite cozy. They're just a little short of that. So I kind of found all that out on the fly, and I just started writing.
That's a good story. Now, when it comes to, since you don't have the background in law enforcement, when it comes to the investigative process, the procedures that you would normally take, how do you acquire your research on it? How did you develop those protocols so they align with reality?